Hello, hello. Today we have the Gold Blooded palette by Jeffree Star Cosmetics. Y'all, I can't. I honestly was fully ready with my full chest to be like, hey, you guys, I know the packaging looks really cheap, and to be honest, does feel a little cheap, but you know what? The product inside, the formula that Jeffree Star has done for this palette is amazing. His formula for the past several years has been so good. You really need to give this a chance. This is the 10th year anniversary palette. It's so good. The rest of this collection has just been so amazing. It's a 100 out of 100, A+ collection for Jeffree Star. And I was ready to say that. I really, really thought it. The last few palettes that I've tried, I think the last palette of his that I played with was the Gothic Beach palette. I think that might have been the last one, the Gothic Beach palette and the Orgy 2 palette. And both of those palettes were, I feel like, really good. Maybe the theme didn't really hit with some people, but overall it was a really solid formula, and I liked it. Like, I know that the theming maybe wasn't really interesting to a lot of people, and that's why people didn't pick it up. But this one, especially being the 10-year anniversary, at this point, this is the last piece of this collection that I have on my channel. If you haven't already seen, I've reviewed the lipsticks. I've reviewed the highlighter palette. I reviewed the liquid highlighters, and I've reviewed the liquid eyeshadows. And all of those were just outstanding, just beautiful. The usual great highlighter pan formula, the usual great liquid lip formula, the usual great liquid eyeshadow formula. Like, all those other pieces were so good, and I was excited to try this palette out. Several months ago, I think almost 6 months ago at this point, I had put out a post on my I guess you could say kind of like on my channel, on my community tab, asking if my viewers wanted to see a review of this palette, and I didn't really get much of a response, so I said, okay, maybe people don't really seem that interested, and that's why I kind of broke it up into different pieces. And now we're finally here to the last piece of this collection. There was more interest in the Gold-Blooded collection than there was in the Scorpio collection, because I also have pieces of the Scorpio collection. And here we are with Gold-Blooded. It is a vault. It looks like a vault. His famous vault. He's known for his vaults. And then when you kind of try and pull that out, when you pull this out, you will find the palette. The palette will be sitting in here. It's pink on the inside, and y'all, the packaging is very flimsy. You would think for a 10-year anniversary, maybe we would have spent a little bit more money on the packaging, but that's what I thought. I'm like, okay, you know what? If you're gonna give me a bomb-ass formula, then I don't care about the packaging, because I think a lot of people also end up throwing away this packaging, so it's fine. Like, okay, fine. So the packaging is a little cheap, whatever, okay? Because we have the actual palette over here. Here's the actual palette. I'm gonna pull this off my star, my stunning Jeffree Star, and it's giving, I think if you're, quite eagle-eyed, it's like a little brother to the Conspiracy palette. It's the same shape, that same kind of almost pyramid shape, except now it's just all gold. There's some texture. This is all textured, and we got the star emblem there. And on the back, it's also like this fake kind of gold. If you're looking for ingredients, it's on the actual box. It's not on the palette. So if you're interested on the ingredients, that would be on the actual box. But this is what's on the back. This bottom back part is not shiny. And you can definitely tell this is made of cardboard. So it does feel a lot lighter. It's definitely smaller than his kind of cased palettes from before. But when we open it up, which it just opens, there's no clasp, there's nothing, it just opens up. And it also, something cool though, it does lay flat. So I will say that it does lay flat. I'm going to use this to cover it up. So it does lay flat, more or less, because it's got this weird shift, but you can use that there. This backing part kind of holds it up. But if you hold it like this, it does fully go back. So that's nice. There's of course a mirror in here as always. On the top it says Gold-Blooded right there on the top. And then here we have the actual palette, the shades. And I don't know. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this color story? I don't think this color story particularly excited anyone. I think when I first saw it, I got excited because I love gold. I love the yellows that I can immediately see in here. It feels very safe, so I think that might catch the attention perhaps of some other people. But this feels very safe, and until I started playing with it, I realized how orange this palette was. I don't think I was expecting it to be so orange. And now I feel bad for having already used it, because I think this would have been a really great palette to use during the summer. I think I might have liked it more for the summer. I think I made a mistake by using this in December, because this doesn't feel like a December palette, and I feel like that's also one of the things I may have kind of like a bias towards. Like, I think I used this in the wrong time, but regardless, let's start off with the mattes. The mattes are good. Okay, the mattes in here are really nice. The first matte I tried was this Inspiration one, which by the way, I'm not trying to cause any drama, but there's this like piece in here. I don't know what it is. It's hard. I don't know if it's a piece of metal. I don't know if it's a piece of plastic, but it's there and it's inside of the product. Like, it's right there. I don't really know what to do. I think it's fine. I've never seen something like that in my product before. So I will say, so soft. So soft. Like butter. It is. when I was using my brush, I could feel it using my brush. That's how freaking soft these are. So like these eyeshadows I like them. I like these eyeshadows. Let me do, of course we're gonna do yellow. Let's do Perseverance. That's the nice yellow. I was trying to remember, I'm like, is this the kind of vibe that Banana Fetish was doing? If there's one palette I feel like he needs to revamp and bring back, it's the Banana Fetish palette, because I feel like those shades did not have enough pigment and those shimmers lack the shimmer. And that's why I do not have that palette anymore. And you can tell, I'm sorry, I know we're talking about gold-blooded, but for Banana Fetish, you can tell that he literally only brought out that palette to complete like his rainbow kind of theme, versus like actually wanting to come out with a yellow palette. And that last yellow palette just feels like such a throwaway, and it's so sad because I absolutely love yellow and I feel like it deserved its moment, and it really did have its moment. A shade like Queen Supreme and Internet Royalty on my eyes kind of looked like the same color, so I don't feel like these two shades, these two pink shades, really did much for me. You could definitely see the difference here, but on my eye, they became so muddled, and I don't know why. Of course, I understand why he has to have his pink in here. It's his signature pink. Okay, fine. This Boss Metality also feels like it really didn't really stand out in my looks. Which, these are swatching so beautifully. Okay, the mattes in here are good, and I'm honestly still on the fence about whether or not I want to keep this palette, to be quite honest. I just wasn't really, I don't know, I wasn't too excited to wear it. I thought the looks were okay. After using this palette, I went to look up other people's videos, their reviews on this palette, and what I found was either one, super extreme Jeffree Star fans, which is fine, you know, who just were kind of butt-kissing about this palette, or two, people who had received this collection in PR, and of course were just giving it a good review because PR, and they want to stay on the Jeffree Star PR list. People who were kind of being, I don't know if they were paid by Jeffree Star Cosmetics, but it sounded like they were kind of on some sort of list where they were able to get this palette for free. The reviews I watched were from a year ago, and it was just a lot of possibly, allegedly, probably not very unbiased reviews. And I did finally find one from this gal who I think had only like 200 subscribers or something like that. And I think she kind of said what I was thinking, which was usually Jeffree Star has really, really solid, just amazing mattes, and he's mastered that. He's mastered that. I think his next hump is mastering the shimmer shades, because the shimmer shades in this palette are so freaking distressing. There was only one shade in this palette that I was able to really pick up with a brush, and it was this Fire Phoenix. Everything else I had to apply with a finger, and that's just not how I roll. I don't really like to do that. There's also, again, too many light colors. Pick one of these. I don't think you need both of those. There's also a lot more orange leaning than I thought. I wish she would have done maybe a little bit more yellow, but I think my main issue was, I think it was these first four. This was an interesting formula. That was a formula I'd never seen before, and then this one applied fine. But these first four shades really just disappointed me so much. This looks like it's already panning over, and you can feel it's a completely different formula. It's almost like a highlighting formula, which I don't know why he would put that in here. Same with this one. It's more of a highlighter than it feels like an eyeshadow. With this one, it was very like crumbly and just would not pick up with a brush. You have gold-blooded over here. This one wasn't too bad, but I was just kind of shook because, okay, well, there's that swatch. How are you going to come out with a 10-year anniversary and not have this made this like the best eyeshadow palette of your line in the last few years? And then we have this yellow. Like I said, this yellow, pretty good. It's alright. But those first three, come on. I also want to swatch Vincent Van Gold and Fire Phoenix. I think these two are the best in here. This one you can definitely tell is a different formula. This is a formula I've never seen from Jeffree Star. I have not seen this formula before. So that's very interesting. It's very, very soft. It's almost like touching like gossamer. Like it feels like I'm touching a dress almost. I think these are the best two shades in here. I'm gonna put them over here. Look how red that is. And his shades are vegan, so that's a really amazing red. But I think these two are my favorite shades. This kind of brown gold is so interesting. It's a very interesting texture. It's a little shimmery, not too shimmery. I think it might be a little bit more of a topper. But I just watched all the shimmers. I was just hoping for some really good shimmers on this, and I don't really feel like I got that. It's also very, very orange. I feel like I need to come back to this palette during the summer. I think I've decided just today that, because I've been rolling this palette around in my mind, and I'm like, am I being biased because it's winter right now and this just isn't, I'm just not feeling it because of like the weather. Do you know what I mean? Like definitely these shimmers in here need work, period. Okay, like that's what it is. But the rest of the palette, the rest of the mattes, I don't know. I feel like I need to play with this a little longer. What might end up happening is I may end up depanning some of the shades in here and putting it in another Jeffree Star palette and keeping the other palette and giving the rest of this away. Yeah, I can see why this palette is, even though it was the 10-year anniversary, pretty quickly went into discount mode. I feel like it was trying to give, but it's not fully giving. I don't know, that sounds so stupid, but like, I did like this Legacy shade. This was quite pretty, and Resilience, and Courageous was so orange. I think this is the shade that really threw me off. It's like super kind of like Arizona desert kind of colors, and they are pretty. I'm just like, I don't think I'm in this mindset right now. So maybe I need to try this palette again and come back to it and see how I feel about it. Because look at those mattes. The mattes in here are gorgeous. These shimmers really bring it down though. Like this could have really been a home run, I feel like. And I could have been saying something completely different if the shimmers had held up. But I don't know. I'd love to know your guys' thoughts on this. I know this palette wasn't particularly too popular. I don't know how many people really picked this up. I'd love to get your thoughts on this palette. I was on the fence. At first I wanted to fully just give it away, and then I was like, maybe I'll save some of the shades. But then today I was thinking, I'm like, okay, maybe I'm just not in the mood for this color story right now, and I don't want to, how do they say, like throw the baby with the bathwater. You don't make a decision way too soon and then regret later on when he's not even selling this palette anymore. And I'm like, wait, I feel like I needed to have given it a couple more tries. So I'm going to keep it for now. But let me know what your thoughts have been of this entire collection. I have other videos reviewing everything else. Like I said, I love his liquid eyeshadows. His liquid lipsticks are really good. I really enjoyed the liquid highlighters. This was also good. The liquid, not the liquid, the highlighting palette, the highlighter palette. It's a good solid palette. Not very exciting, but a very, very good standard palette. So that's what I think about those. I think this collection overall, like it was almost there. It was almost a home run. Like this was a big piece. I think that could have really made this a great collection, but I feel like it kind of fell short. Let me know down below what y'all think about this palette. Other than that, y'all have a great day.